My parents spent $95,000 of my $100,000 inheritance on my sisters, then asked me to be grateful they left me $5,000. I'm 25, the youngest of three, and my grandparents had left each of us $100,000 for college and our futures. My two older sisters, Gloria and Lori, both received the same amount, but they blew through theirs, dropped out of college, became single mothers, and eventually came back to work at my parents' grocery store. I went in the opposite direction. Throughout high school, I worked summers and after school as a landscaper, saved about $20,000, and eventually got into college on a partial scholarship. I was excited because I had a plan. I could graduate without debt and hopefully own my own home by the time I was 22. When I turned 18, I asked my parents for access to my trust, just like they'd given my sisters when they turned 18. Instead, they told me we'd discuss it at dinner, and when the whole family sat down that night, my parents told me they wanted me to wait 2 years because they had already used most of my money to cover my niece's healthcare and living expenses, and to pay off a lawsuit one of my sisters received after a DUI. I asked how much was left, and my mom said there was about $5,000. They had spent $95,000 of the money my grandparents had specifically left for me, and somehow every dollar had gone to someone except the person it actually belonged to. My dad told me I needed to think about my family and understand that they needed my help, but I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My sisters had been able to use their inheritances for college and travel, while mine had quietly become the family emergency fund.
I told them this wasn't really a request because the decision had already been made, and I wasn't going to pretend it was fair just because we were family, so I moved out and left. I still went to college using my scholarship, and I used the $20,000 I'd saved myself to start a landscaping business, which now employs 6 people and is doing well. But I never got the future my grandparents had tried to give me. 2 years ago, I had my lawyer formally request access to the trust, and that's when I discovered something even worse. There wasn't even $5,000 left. The actual balance was $3,456.13, meaning my parents had spent even more of my inheritance than they'd admitted. Over the years, my parents and sisters kept trying to reconnect with me. They sent gifts, letters, and invitations, but I returned every single one and continued living my life without them. Now I'm getting married next month, and my fiancé wants to meet my family. She believes I should forgive them, move on, and finally close that chapter of my life, but I don't know how to forgive people who took something my grandparents left specifically for me, spent almost all of it on my sisters and their children, and then expected me to accept it because we're family. Maybe she's right that I shouldn't carry this forever, but forgiving them and pretending what they did was okay are two completely different things, and right now I'm still not ready to let them back into my life.